this set the tone for you guys? And welcome to my video today. I don't know why I say welcome to my video today, but for those of you that want to be welcomed into my world today, you are here watching this video. So welcome to my channel today. And I'm in a good mood, you guys. I'm not down, I'm not upset, I'm not depressed. So this is just me leveling with you guys. So from the title of this video, it is called Why I Disabled My Facebook. It's a little bit more than just that. It's just that I wanted to elaborate on some things that have been going on with me and some things that I did say in a couple of videos prior to this and kind of give you guys an update of things. So in my last, not this Friday Freebies video, my other one where I was apologizing to you guys, at the end of that for a previous video that I had made, the YouTube pet peeves video and all that, which I'm not talking about that. But I made you guys an apology video saying that June was pretty much a really bad month for me personally. It was a struggle for me personally, and I mean with myself, not with anybody in particular. Although there were people involved, and I'll get to that later. June was kind of a real struggle for me, depression-wise. I was having a real hard time just coping with things. I guess in general, just having some, I guess, crossroads with the way I think about myself in general, and how I do things and the way I was feeling about my life personally. How I was feeling about just my status in what I do, like the things I do on YouTube, the things I do in my personal life. And I think a lot of it was kicked up through my therapy that I currently still am doing. I have been going to therapy now since I think February of this year. It started right after I went to my medical doctor, who gave me that suggestion, thought that I could use it, and she was correct in that assumption. So I did start doing it, and I really love the person that I go see every week. I really, really do. The problem with the last month or so is I think every week leading up to going to therapy, every week there seemed to be something going on that would just bring me to discussing that particular subject, but not discussing the things that I went to therapy for in the first place. Even though they're all tied in, it seemed like more things got ahead of that instead of me just going to therapy because I need to deal with my issues. And unfortunately, the month of June, just everything just smacked and kind of hit that wall for me where I was having such a real hard time that I can't even remember the last time I really crashed as hard as I did. Probably, I'd say 2007. That's how bad. And not to the point of that I felt like I wanted to kill myself or anything like that. It wasn't that extreme. Let's not get it twisted. But it just it felt like for a while that I was just, I don't know, backed in a corner. I felt kind of like that, really misunderstood, that I was always explaining myself. I kind of felt really just always gloomy. It was just, I don't know how else to really, what adjective to use. I just felt gloomy about everything. I didn't know if I felt in the right spot, if that makes any sense. It was kind of like I felt like I lost my place, like I was that round peg in a square hole, or square peg in a round hole, however you say it. And when that happens, I tend to get very frustrated and agitated, and it ends up being something that trickles down into my personal life. So therefore, the people closest to me will experience that, and vice versa. The people that are also close to me can trigger some of that because of some of their behaviors, some of their dialogue with me when I am not at my best. And that was a big struggle for me in June, and it ended up resulting in me wanting to just cut away and cut off certain things that were going on. So one of the major things was me disabling my Facebook account, because there's three big reasons why I did it, outside of the fact of just for mental reasons. I mean, that's a big one. I really want to be careful with how I say this next thing, as far as like what's been going on in our world. When you are depressed already, and you are on social media and there is a fluctuation of just negativity, and that is, I'm saying, because of what's going on in the world, from shootings and just it's primarily been shootings, but it's just so much hatred and violence and racism and segregation and so much going on that in an already depressed mind, it's probably not the best thing to sit there and saturate yourself and infiltrate yourself with so much of it that you get to the point of you just you don't want to live in the world that you're living with currently. And I'm not talking about killing myself. I'm talking about you just don't want to partake in that world because you feel so helpless and so disappointed in the way things are going that you just don't know the right things to say without triggering someone. And I think that's what happens with a lot of things on social media. We are saturated with news and media and celebrity and just everything now. You can't even get away from it if you want to. Back in my day, it was the newspaper and the local, the national and local news, and that was it. Once you shut off the TV, once you threw that newspaper away, that was it. Your news was, you got your news, you knew about it. The only other news you knew is the life that you led. And a lot of us, like me, grew up with a lot of the things that are still going on today. And I had to think about this before I decided to have a whole video on the subject. And there's a lot of things that I have feelings about and opinions about, but I did not want to do that while I was having personal struggles, if you can understand that. So I do plan on this week having a Choly Chats, and we are going to talk about those specific topics, the things that have been going on. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not trying to hide from it. But for me personally, I didn't think it was the right thing to do, reacting to it while I was getting all of the information, realizing that certain things are still happening in this world that have been happening since I was a child and hasn't stopped. And also the fact that what happens on social media, sometimes I think it's great for some things, and then I think it's so detrimental in other ways. I think that everything nowadays is recorded. Everything nowadays is shown to you. Everything nowadays is a person or people or groups of people starting, different movements. And while I understand, and I think the intention is great, while I think that's a wonderful thing to start movements and things like that. I mean, we did that we did that. I wasn't born yet, but in the 60s, in the 70s, there were protests and things like that. But what also comes with those protests is people getting hurt, and that's across the board. That's physically, mentally, spiritually. Once you talk about one end of the spectrum, you may end up hurting another end of the spectrum, or you may end up insulting another end of the spectrum. And that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody who has a platform on social media has to be real careful how they express themselves this day and age, because nowadays everything is either a trigger or it's something that somebody uses as, this is the reason why I'm responding or reacting, and this person's behavior and that person's behavior. We all do it on social media, and we're doing it in the world now, and it's becoming very, very difficult to try and just be an individual and relate to people on just a individual basis. Just like, listen, we all have opinions. We all speak our minds. We all have something to say. And I think it's great on one end that we have the platforms to do so, and the blogs to do so, and the videos to do so. And on the other end, sometimes I think that it's way too much, and sometimes it gets to the point where we may be sensationalizing it more than it needs to be. So that's why I kind of backed away from not making content about what's been going on lately, this last several months. The other reason that I decided to disable my Facebook is because of my involvement with just social media in its entirety. That's Facebook, YouTube, and all of it. And mainly it's Facebook, YouTube, because for me, I do a lot on Facebook and YouTube, and they kind of go hand in hand. YouTube, of course, with me making videos, and then Facebook and me having relationships with people that are either YouTube content creators or just my close friends or my personal friends in my life. All of that had something to do with it, because during the time I was struggling so much, there were just too many, just, I'm not gonna lie, there was too many things going on with my close friends, on both sides, either with me or them, and it ended up in resulting in a lot of just having back and forths and having really heated discussions or emotional discussions and things, again, that I feel sometimes the way we all relate to ourselves is through a screen, and it's hard sometimes for me as a person, I'm not going to lie. If I can't see somebody's face, if I can't hear somebody's voice, a lot of the times the way I will discuss things or react to things is the way I read them, and I think it's the way for myself as well. And I think it just ruins your trying to keep closeness with people. As great as it is, again, it's also very detrimental in my personal life. For instance, my best friend Chris, okay? We we're personally best friends in real life, but we tend to do a lot of communication on Facebook as well, because I don't see Chris all the time, and we message each other a lot. And there are times that, I feel sometimes I'll read something, or sometimes I'll know something that's been going on in his life, and then he'll post something on social media, and then I'll, like want to talk to him about it, and then it ends up being about something else, and it kind of opens up a whole issue that doesn't need to be. And then we have dissension between ourselves, and his triggers, my triggers, what have you. And the same goes for my good friend Liz as well. And her and I are very much alike, as far as like being, we're very, very, very close, as two people could possibly be, about so many things. I mean, as mothers, as women, as just struggles that we've had in our own lives. That's how close we are. And again, with closeness also comes separation, because sometimes when you're not relating to the closest people, you can feel so separated from them and feel so isolated that you don't know what to do. And that happened with with Liz. And again, some things were said, or on my end, some things were assumed. Some things were assumed, and I felt like, she was kind of like not with me anymore. Like, she wasn't like, supportive of me. She was kind of like going on the opposite of me. And again, it was stupid and silly, and it's not worth going into the whole situation. But her and I, we are talkers and we're hashers, and we like to just hash everything out. And we were doing that. And again, it's through Messenger on Facebook. I mean, we talk on the phone and everything like that. But again, because I can't see her and I can't hear her sometimes, for me, that's a struggle. Because I love her so much and I'm so close to her, that when we have breaks in communication, it's hard to not be able to see her and talk to her, or have her here and just let her know sometimes that, I might need her, but I just have a hard time expressing how I need her. And that happens with everybody I'm close to. The other thing is that I think things are misconstrued on Facebook. I think, again, and that's statuses, that's messengers, that's inbox messaging. Like I said, it's hard to know where a person is in their state of mind, or where they are physically, or what they're doing. You don't really know all the time. So when you're having these conversations, somebody could be driving, somebody could be at a doctor's appointment, somebody could be, having lunch with their kid, somebody could be shopping somewhere, whatever it is. And sometimes when you're knee deep in a conversation or a communication, and you're getting or not getting responses, within the time frame you think you should be getting them, then, for me, it's like, oh my God, like, I just want to get through this conversation. So what I ended up doing is disabling Facebook. I thought that maybe taking kind of like a mental break from all of it, from just, the feed, from reading stuff, from having, issues and going on, just kind of take a breather from all of that, because sometimes for me, it takes over, and I forget that I'm a person outside of all of this. I'm a real flesh and blood person outside of all of that social media stuff. And even though it is the way I keep in contact with some of my closer friends, it ends up being sometimes a detriment as well, because you just want to be real and you don't always have that option to, for whatever obstacle there is, however far they live, or if you don't drive, if they don't drive, or whatever it is. So in keeping things kind of more calmer, and kind of for just me to decompress on certain issues, that is why I decided to just kind of like cut it for a little bit, and just do more things that I want to do personally with the people I want to do them with, in physically. I have a couple of vlogs coming up that you'll see Liz in. Same thing with Chris. We've been spending some time together this summer. I've been having, a great time with my daughter, and of course, with Joe and everything. And that's what's most important, is spending time whenever there's any kind of bad stuff going on. The best thing to do, I think, is to spend time with the people who do love you, the people who do support you, and get away from the people that don't, that people that just, they don't always know you and always understand you, and they're not always going to get you. And that's something I'm learning to deal with and, cope with in better ways than I have in the past. And I think disabling my Facebook was one of those steps. And the other thing is to just kind of just, be a little bit more open to what your family thinks, and listening to them, and kind of just, really being real about stuff. I have a hard time admitting to my family, especially when I'm having that crash and burn time. I don't want to burden them. I don't want to bring it upon them, but unfortunately everything that affects me affects them. And so even in my intention of not affecting them, it ends up affecting them anyway. So I've been doing a lot of talking with them, a lot of heart-to-hearts, and a lot of, personal realizations. And so, therefore, it's been getting better. I've been feeling a lot more positive than I have, and it's gonna show. You'll see it in my videos. I think I've been a little bit more upbeat than I have been in previous months. There's a lot more content that I'm wanting to make, and that's pretty much, my leveling with you guys. I just want you guys to know that I do recognize even the negative in me, and I do see that, there are times that sometimes I got to step back, and I just got to start working on things that are not in anyone else's control but mine. And that's all we all have to do, is just control ourselves, try to be better people, try to not tell other people how they should be. They need to realize that on their own. Like I said, I don't hold a blind eye to the things that are going on right now. I really don't. It's unfortunate. But there will be, a Choly Chats on it this weekend. And I just want to say thank you guys for your love and support and your understanding and watching this video today. And I wish you guys nothing but love and support. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.